What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 130, and just before we start this episode, I want to say right now, I am losing my voice. So if at any point during the episode, I cough or I do something, it's literally because I'm losing my voice and trying to make sure that I can get this commentary out for you guys. So, what's happened then? We are playing our final few games now in the league. I think this is going to be the league and also the cup final, I believe. I think we're playing the last two games here. Before we move into that Champions League final, of course, if you didn't watch the last episode, please go back and watch it. It was an incredible game at Old Trafford, of course. And if you are a Manchester United fan, I'm sure you guys are buzzing after yesterday's result in the EFL Cup final. But what I will say is, right, I'm going to say this right now, and I'm not out to insult anybody or insult their team, but you have to really feel bad for Southampton. Honestly, man, the decision at the beginning of the game for the offside goal, it goes to the age-old question of will we ever get video technology? Because at the end of the day, if we'd have had it there, much like rugby did, Southampton could turn around and say, you know what, we're gonna challenge this. Video ref comes in, realizes it's not offside. Southampton are 1-0 up in the game. Credit where credit's due, though. I thought Ibrahimovic showed his quality. He is absolutely unreal. And honestly, in a final for players to step up, I think Pogba didn't do enough to warrant his fee. But again, that's up for the discussion. But for me, Ibrahimovic, to get him on a free transfer and how good he has been, single-handedly took the game by the scruff of its neck and showed his quality. Absolute credit. And credit where credit's due. To win finals, you got to score. I've said it numerous times in the series before about us scraping 1-0 wins and champions. That's the stuff they're made of. United did it today. They dug deep and they did what they needed to do to win the game. So credit to them, I guess. But I do really feel bad for the Southampton players, man. You could see it at full time how distraught they were after the game. But it's a very good game for neutral to watch, put it that way. So, yeah. And in today's episode, though, guys, as we do go off on a bit of a tangent there to start the episode, I apologise in advance. But, yeah, we are playing the final game. Not too bothered about result, as per usual, because now we are champions anyway. So I'm not really bothered if we win this one or lose this game up against Cagliari. So I'm only looking forward to the not the Champions League final, the Coppa Nazionale final is what I meant to say there. So if we win, great. If we don't, we don't. And this, guys, is where Mauro Icardi shines. He missed a couple of chances early on in this one, but 40 minutes on the clock. Absolutely rifles one into the bottom corner and gives us the lead in this game as well. It was a decent strike, don't get me wrong, but what I will say about Mauro Icardi, his left foot is shocking. The amount of times I've been through and tried a low-driven shot on his left foot, it just does not work at all. So this one I was going to go with a low-driven shot. In the end, I chose to just power it into the bottom corner, and it worked wonders for me. So we took the lead in this one. But as I did say, I'm not bothered about results at this point in the league. The only result I'm bothered about is that Coppa Nazionale and, of course, the Champions League final still to come up against, I do believe. And I actually find, in fact, I'm not going to tell you because I think at the end of the episode I showed you who it actually is. So I won't actually tell you right now. You can wait till the end of the episode. Obviously, you can skip there now if you really wanted to see. But for anybody who was going to wait, then you'll see who we are playing in the next round. Put it this way. In the final, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. 57 minutes on the clock now. We were in control pretty much all the way throughout. Shot forcing the keeper into a save there in the second half. And again, we picked up play in the 66th minute. Donson now on the ball, gives it into Raul Jimenez. Jimenez into Icardi. Icardi waits for the run to come back from Jimenez, and he really should score this. Poor finishing from him. Has to be scoring that one to make it 2-0. From the corner, though, we eventually don't whip it in because I forgot that was the end of the highlight. 83 minutes in, though, guys. Raul Jimenez using the power to get through. Gives it off to Gian Mario. Takes a strike on from the edge of the area pretty much, and it's an easy save for the keeper to make. Nothing really testing him there, to be honest with you. And although I had a lot of chance in this one, guys, I scraped a 1-0 victory. I mean, they didn't have a shot themselves, so it was kind of a situation in which it was going to be a 0-0. Otherwise, I could find a goal. I did it in Mauro Icardi anyway, so it didn't matter ultimately. But you can see, guys, the players celebrating, of course. Now we get to lift the not the Champions League, sorry, the league trophy. Now the fact that we are in the final game of the season, so you will see us lift that trophy. The amount of times I've skipped it in the past, guys, again, the amount of times I've done it, I apologise in advance because I do it in the Road to Glory one, still to come in a future episode. But I didn't skip it here. I remembered to hold out with the A button, and I did, in fact, get to show you us lift the trophy. The players celebrating. Some of those guys featured quite a lot for us. Some other ones not featuring as much. No reason why. I have no idea why Val Gent is the one lifting the trophy. Yeah, he was not meant to be. Don't know why he's got the armband. Don't know why he's doing that, but at the end of the day, guys, all that matters is that the trophy is lifted. I probably should have given the armband to somebody maybe along the lines of Donser or possibly somebody like that rather than just having a nobody on it. Well, not nobody, but somebody who hasn't really played for us. It makes more sense in that sense. But at the end of the day, the trophy is lifted. We are champions of Calcio A in our first season. And what I will say right now, guys, I'm only possibly planning to do one more season of this career mode. I've got something big planned in the future for a different type of series, but In terms of this series, I'm only planning on taking it one more season into it. So after this Champions League goes, I will be splashing the cash next season, and that will be the final season of this career mode. We'll go past about 150 episodes-ish in terms of that one. So yeah, don't be expecting me to continue too much in this series, because it's getting to the point now where I want to try a big challenge, and I've got a really big challenge actually planned. So depends on when we actually get around to doing it, is when I'll show you it. It's a very interesting one, to say the least. Hopefully you enjoy it regardless, because I want to give you guys good content, but I want to keep mixing it up and doing stuff that I would find quite entertaining. And so the next challenge that's going to be on the channel in terms of a career mode is actually going to be quite entertaining. It involves a Super League, but it's not just a Super League alone. You'll have to wait and see. I don't want to spoil it too much, but of course, guys, that's still in the future to be done, because it's going to be still one entire season at Inter Milan for next year, and that will be the end. But you can see there the Calcio title now secured. We move on into the Coppa Nazionale to try and secure that one as well, coming up against Juventus. Every team that we could have got, why does it have to be the team that pushed us right to the edge in terms of the league title? Why does it have to be Juve? Why couldn't it have been somebody, you know, like Fiorentina, who, no disrespect to them, would have been slightly easier to play against than Juve? A lot of the teams in the final, though, guys, can upset you. If you play against a smaller league club or somebody like that, don't disrespect them too much, because they can do the unthinkable and actually end up beating you and knocking you out of the, or making you come as runner-up, which you don't want to have to happen. So the fact we're playing against Juventus, in some ways, it's good in the sense that, of course, they're going to give us an even matchup, and although they're not an underdog, if we lost it, you know, we wouldn't be too disheartened, because they're still a very good team. But then in many ways, they're so damn annoying to play against, especially the way they took us all the way to the edge of, you know, the title race. So I came into this one looking at it in two ways. You know, do I go and set up with a defensive style and try and just counterattack from minute one? Do I play with high pressure, or do I just sort of go all guns blazing and try and do it that way? You can see the team I named. Of course, we got the Champions League final in 4 days in game. There's like, you know, 4 or 5 weeks that they could have chosen to put it in, but they had to put it 4 days later after this game, which meant I had to name a slightly weaker team. I think I only played one of our main centre-backs, which was Murillo. And then I played, I think, Juan Jesus next to him, but I could be wrong there. But I know for sure we didn't play both our top centre-backs in this game. So it is a slightly weaker team, but it's still a team I personally thought could do the job for us. Coppa Nazionale looking to win it for the first time. You can see how we got here. We beat Napoli by 3-0. Juventus getting here by winning 4-3 over Lazio. So Lou starts in goal. Murillo is the centre-back that I named alongside Juan Jesus. Yep, it was, in fact. And the team in general, guys, it had Jimenez, it had Icardi up top, it had Brozovic, it had Donsa. I'm pretty sure it was also João Mario and Shop as the two wingers. And then it's a very good defensive unit, barring maybe Juan Jesus. I mean, you saw their team, though, Juventus, still no slouches, of course. It took us right to the edge of the title challenge. And they were going to be interesting to play against, to say the least. So that's our team on the screen. Barella, I do believe Juan Jesus, Murillo, and Carmona line up the defence for us, which is pretty good. So I still felt confident. Like, although it's not our strongest team, I still felt pretty damn confident to win this one here. You can see Mitrovic, though, 3 goals in his last 3 appearances. Of course, he's at Newcastle in real life. He's at Juventus here. So, first chance, though, 19 minutes in, came our way. Jimenez here, lovely footwork, gets in behind the defence and draws a penalty kick in the final of the Coppa Nazionale. You, of course, know exactly how I do with penalties. And to get one in the final, it just adds more pressure, in all honesty. Like, I came into this, I didn't want to go to penalties. Luckily, I've not had to face a penalty shootout in a big game yet. Otherwise, I probably would crumble under pressure. Jimenez steps up to take it. I go down the middle, and of course, it's saved. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant in this one. It's saved by the keeper. I'm made to look like an absolute mug. So we went in at half-time 0-0, looking as if we were going to get a pretty boring draw in the first 90 minutes. Neither of the teams really setting up as if they wanted to go for the full attacking setup. So in the second half, I brought on Ziterbo, changed it up to a high-pressure game, and wanted to really try and go at Juventus in their own half here. And 49 minutes on the clock, you can see this is a fantastic move to get the opening goal of the game. Fantastic little play. Carmona cuts it back inside to Donsa. Donsa into, I do believe, Mario Icardi. Holds up the play just enough. Spots the run coming in as a turbo. Gets there ahead of Zoe, and a fantastic move. Honestly, that was a lovely ball in from Mario Icardi. And then the substitute is Ziterbo, comes off the bench and scores the opening goal of this Coppa Nazionale final. So, you know, to make the change, sometimes in football you've got to make changes as a manager to change a game up, and that's exactly what I did here, bringing on the pace of Ziterbo to really pressurise this Juventus tiring backline. And maybe, you know, if we had Jimenez here, he probably wouldn't have reached that ball, but because Ziterbo's slightly quicker than Jimenez, and of course on this, he's just managed to hold off the defender, I guess, get there ahead of Zoe. It's not the clinical of finishes, but it's still a very, very good finish nonetheless. Under pressure, it's not an easy thing to do at all. So he took the lead in this one. Juventus never really pressured us up until this point now when they had to come out and try and make sure that they were going to come and try and get something out of this game at least. And then, guys, just as we got the first goal, we found the second. 64 minutes into Turbo, good little turn, gives it to Brozovic, holds up the play just enough, gives it off to Mauro Icardi, and Mr. Number 9 gives us a 2-goal advantage and dead fishes onto the floor. So Juve, in a space of no time at all, found themselves 0-0 to 2-0, and it meant that this point now was vital to them. They had to really go all guns blazing, and I love it when teams have to do that because they're so easy to catch on the break. If you've ever played against a team that goes all out attack against you in the AI and you can defend slightly well, get the ball back, you play one through ball up the top, and already you're pretty much in a one-on-one situation. So we took the lead 2-0, and I never really sort of thought we were going to lose it at this point. When we take a 2-0 lead, if I lose it at this point, I'm shocking and I should just quit. So as soon as I got the second goal, I kind of calmed the nerves a little bit. I thought, yep, it's pretty much secure now as long as I just do my defensive duties as I should be doing. And then we found the third goal. 71 minutes in, literally no time after that one went in. João Mario gives it off here. He comes into Mauro Icardi. He gives it to Shop. Shop into Varela. Varela down this left-hand side, tries a triple tap cross. It takes a deflection, comes into Brozovic, who reacts quickest and pokes the ball into the empty net to make it 3-0. So 73 minutes on the clock. Fantastic play all across the board in this second half. That change of Ziterbo, giving us the opening goal, allowed us to spur on and get a 2 more in the game. Agonising if you're a Juventus fan, though, because, of course, the team never really got into the game because we didn't allow them to, in a sense. But they weren't really looking to get into the game, if I'm being completely honest with you. They never really threatened me going forward, and I didn't feel as though they really deserved a spot in the final, in a sense. I mean, to get here, yeah, they did quite well, but they never really challenged, and that's one of the things that I was a bit disappointed with. I was expecting more of a game from them, if I'm being completely honest. Their first chance of the game came 87 minutes into it, so that just shows you how much of a lack of quality they had on the day. So we took a 3-0 victory in this cup final here, guys. Normally I like to do these cup finals in live com, but sometimes it gets to the point where I'm thinking, you know what, we've got a Champions League game next coming up, so that's, of course, going to be live if I can get around to making it live. If not, I apologise in advance, but I'm sure, hopefully, it will be live. Regani there on the floor looks distraught with himself. Looks a lot like the Southampton players did, actually, after yesterday's result, which is, yeah, I feel so bad, man. I mean, I've been in a situation before. I've lost a cup final, and let me tell you, it's not a nice feeling to have. Seriously isn't. Like, when you lose cup finals, guys, it's really not a nice feeling, especially when you lose it and you were in the game, you know? It's one of them things in football that's just really, really is difficult. I mean, here, Juventus were never in the game, but for Southampton's case, to lose it 3-2, yeah, they were in the game and they were really pressurising. They hit the par and stuff, so, you know, like I said, different circumstances. On another day, United don't get that luck, Southampton win the game, but that's the way it goes sometimes in football. You get a bit of luck going your way, other times it doesn't go your way, and other times you just outclass your opponents, and that's what Zlatan Ibrahimovic did. And we also did it here in this game here. So we took a 3-0 victory against Juventus. Good practice ahead of that Champions League final to come in tomorrow's, or the next episode, basically, of this career mode, which will be against, you're about to see it in literally a couple of seconds' time, guys. I can confirm Leeds United actually went on to lose their second leg. They lost at the Parc des Princes by 4-0, taking it to a 4-2 aggregate victory for PSG. So, the final is going to be Inter Milan versus PSG, the team that we were so close to joining as of last voting poll, basically. We were close to joining them, you know. I mean, well, I say we were close. I mean, they were one of the options, basically. They actually came third in the straw poll, but you know what I mean. They were on our radar, basically. So we've got them in that final still to come. And also, I'm pretty sure they were in our group stage as well. If you remember back, Rabiot scored that, you know, screamer against us, which initially defeated us here at Inter Milan, and then we went on to win the other game. So if we can get a similar outcome in this final where we win the game, that'll be very happy to see. So it's the two teams that came out of the same group meeting in the final here, and it's not going to be an easy feat, let me just tell you that for sure. But I would have much preferred to have played PSG rather than that Leeds United lineup that, of course, we would have come out against had they have beaten the PSG team. I have no idea, though, how they fell to a 4-0 defeat away from home at the Parc des Princes. It really doesn't make sense. You know, they've got a good team. Like, to go to Paris, lose 4-0, I mean, I'm saying that, but Barcelona did it in real life. So, yeah, I can kind of just shut my mouth, basically, because it happened in real life. So that is the end of the Coppa Nazionale, guys, and that is the end of the episode. If you've enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a like, rating. Of course, guys, stay tuned for that Champions League final live, which will be coming to you in the next couple of days. As I said, thank you all so much for your continued support, as always, on the channel. You guys are absolutely incredible for everything you do. And I want to thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all with another video very soon. Stay tuned. Adios.